We've got some terrible wedding guests that I guarantee these people regretted inviting. I attended a wedding last year where, while the very beautiful bride was walking down the aisle, one of the groomsmen nonchalantly turned around and peed.
You gotta go.
In the bush he was standing in front of. You're lying. Arrest this man. This man belongs in jail. All eyes were on the bride, thankfully, except the groomsman's girlfriend, who was seated right next to me and tapped me on the arm. I think he's taken a piss. To this day, the bride still doesn't know, and her husband swore us to secrecy. Thank God. Honestly, I would tell her down the road, but like, how mortifying. Oh my God, is this one of those booklets that you sign at someone's wedding where you like wish them well or sign them like, you know, where you write words of encouragement? This is what you wrote? I hope you guys don't get divorced. Just kidding. I don't think that's totally incorrect. I think every wedding I attend, I hope they don't get divorced. Ooh. Guests start arriving, and one guest, we'll call her Sarah, has her +1, which is her boyfriend, but she also brought a second +1, which she never informed anyone about. Her own photographer she had hired to follow her and take pics for her Instagram. Oh God. This girl isn't famous or even Instagram famous, 2 to 3K followers, but all the photos on her Instagram seemed professional. The bride was super gracious about letting the extra guests stay because she didn't want any drama, but was obviously a bit miffed about it. I mean, I don't see someone else's wedding as like, let's get good Insta pics for me. Oh, I've got a story for this one. Not me, but my dad. Back in college, he was friends with a girl whose fiance was in a wedding party. Weirdly, the girl wasn't invited to the wedding, but she took it upon herself to go uninvited and asked my dad to drive her there. He was totally oblivious and agreed to take her. When they arrived, he realized that they were not in fact invited and tried to get her to leave, but she insisted that they stay. When the bridal party got up for the bridal party dance, her fiance started dancing with another woman who was also not in the wedding party. My dad's friend confronted her and demanded she stop dancing with her fiance, at which point the other woman said it was her fiance. They started fighting on the dance floor and had to be escorted out by security. My dad ended up having to drive her home since they had taken her car and she was too disheveled to drive. He said he always made sure there was an invite after that. Wow, so that is the real reason why she wanted to go and also why she wasn't invited. Sneaky, sneaky. Is that Thanos? Oh my God. I was like, what are they talking about? Honestly, I'm intrigued by this entire wedding, but if you do zoom in, you do see a guest dressed as Thanos, and he even has, is it the gauntlet? The gauntlet hand? I'm very confused by this wedding. There's like 10 chairs. It's by the side of a house. There's Thanos. What's happening? Maybe they wanted Thanos there. My husband and I chose to have a simple, cheap wedding due to both going through university. Most of the guests loved the relaxed daytime atmosphere of being at a park and being surrounded by friends and family. That is adorable. But we had issues with one guest, a former close friend. First, he showed up late and we held the wedding until he arrived so he wouldn't miss out. He later complained of the cheapness of the wedding, stating it doesn't cost enough to be a real wedding. He made a few other remarks we tried to ignore, until I was informed he was trying to invite my friends to a karaoke night at a random pub that night and didn't want to invite my husband or I. We asked him about it and he said he didn't think we would mind him hanging with our friends and that we shouldn't join them because we should be with family instead. He proceeded to get angry that I was being over emotional due to saying that I was upset as we had plans that evening with everyone already and that I personally found it rude to try and convince guests to hang out with him instead during our wedding without inviting or consulting us first. Consulting? There's nothing to consult. It's my wedding day. There's plans. My husband and I had a very small wedding ceremony and reception. Probably about 25 people were invited, only close family and a handful of friends. I invited my dad's BFF, so he'd have someone to socialize with other than my mom, since they literally spend 24/7 together. Plus, his friend always has been good to me. Anyway, a few days ago, before the wedding, my dad's friend asked him if it's okay his daughter and her husband came, and I didn't have a problem with it. Okay, that's nice of you. So she shows up without her husband, but with about 10 Tupperware containers to take food. We had a buffet style wedding. I'm Polish in Western PA and it's kind of tradition in our area. And we had a cookie table. Look it up, also tradition and amazing. That does sound amazing. She loaded up 7 Tupperware containers with food to take home, took about 3 containers of homemade cookies, a couple of bottles of beer, and most the centerpieces. I didn't notice any of this because I was too busy with the whole wedding, but my dad told me about it the next day. And when we opened up our gift from her, she gave us a $5 bill. Not even kidding. A $5 bill. Before anyone asks, she's not poor by any stretch of the imagination. She's probably better off than I am, and I'm assuming it's because she just freeloads from anyone and everyone she can. But seriously, who the F does this? You might as well have just kept your 5 and not given anything. And I cannot physically imagine rolling up to someone's wedding confidently with Tupperware containers. The groom's little brother was the best man and approached his speech like he was trying to do a roast of the bride and groom. Oh boy. He made fun of the groom's career path, pediatrician. What are you making jokes about that for? That's a great job. Made jokes about the bride being emotional / crazy and a gold digger, and joked that spending the rest of one's life with her sounded terrible. One of the bridesmaids ran out of the reception hall crying, with the bride following on her heels. The bride's parents and aunts and uncles were turning beet red and looked furious. You could cut the air with a knife and it was horribly uncomfortable for all of us. Damn. You know, it is one thing, I feel like, to crack a little innocent joke here or there within a speech, like something that's actually not offensive, but to like treat it as a roast, like wrong place, wrong time. All right, we have an RSVP card. The favor of your reply is requested by the 21st of August. So they filled it out, Mr. and Mrs. blank. Hold on. 14 adults plus 2, more? 2 more? 3 kids plus 1 more. Oh my God, those are the kids' ages. 2, 6, 18 months, 23 months. Okay, so hold on. You are RSVPing for yourself, but you're also trying to bring 16 adults and 4 kids. And also, those are not kids, those are babies. Can you do that? I've never been married. I don't know the rules. Isn't the RSVP for simply who it's being sent to? Like you and your guest, like singular? What do you do if you receive this? Like, can you politely be like, fuck this? No. To the girl with the iPhone and just looking at the picture at the bottom. Oh boy. Not only did you ruin my shot, but you took this moment away from the groom, father of the bride, and the bride. What exactly do you plan on doing with that photo? Honestly, are you going to print it out, save it, look at it every day? No, you're not. But my bride would have printed this photo, looked at it often, and reminisced over this moment as her dad walked her down the aisle on her wedding day. But instead, you wanted to take a photo with your phone, blocking my view and taking a photo that you will not use. Guests, please stop viewing weddings you attend through a screen, but instead turn off your phone and enjoy the ceremony. You are important to the bride and groom. You would not be attending the wedding otherwise. So please, let me do my job and you just sit back, relax, and enjoy this once in a lifetime moment. Honestly, I feel like every wedding should have a no phones rule. I don't need the iPhone version of my wedding. I hired a photographer. All right, so we have this oh, I already see it. I already see. Who is that? That's gotta be the mother of the bride or groom. Just reached her hand in the big kiss moment. And she just had to get a close-up of that apparently. Oh, we've got another one. We've got another one. He is videotaping this. Oh, look at the overhead shot with the camera during like the most pivotal moment of this entire day. Okay. Leave your phones and cameras at home, you guys. Unless they didn't hire a photographer and they made that clear. Like, this is, you know, cell phones allowed, bring your cameras, whatever. But also, I don't know if you need to like get all like up close and personal. You can like chill back and like zoom in, you know. When I married my husband 4 years ago, my mother decided she wanted to change everything. She called the florist pretending to be me, changed the size of her bouquet so it was substantially larger than mine, and changed the colors of the flowers. I didn't know this until I saw her prancing herself down the aisle. But before all that, let me start with she showed up late and drunk. She then proceeded to fight because she wanted more pictures taken of her before I walked down the aisle. Then she also decided it would be most appropriate to wear a see-through nightgown. So we were already late to my wedding, wearing bedtime clothes, walking down the aisle, drunk and with a giant bouquet of random color flowers. At the reception, we learned she changed my cake topper out for her own when she got married, which she smuggled inside a shoebox. Then at the end of the night, she was so drunk, she got mad we didn't want her coming with us when we wanted to leave the party and go to our room. Wow. I will kick you out of my own wedding. You're not walking down the aisle in that. I'm sorry. You're also not doing all this other BS. I will tell you that right now. We had a relatively small wedding, just 100. Is that small? I don't know anything about weddings. Is that small? That seems like a lot of people, including a whole bunch of my family visiting from the other side of the country. My husband's groomsman, Jim, decided to get drunk. Oh, Jim. Whatever, no big deal. We were all a little soused. Jim, however, decided to fall over, slobber-knockered drunk. Slobber-knockered. Oh, I love that. And on the bus ride from our wedding venue to the hotel, puked out the open bus window. We were on a large highway. His vomit traveled down the side of the bus directly into the open window of my 80-year-old grandmother and aunt visiting from the other side of the country. We don't speak to Jim anymore. Oh my God, that is just worst case scenario. There's always that one person that takes it too far at an open bar at a wedding. You know, like I'm down to get drunk and have a good time, but like, know your limits. Opinion needed. Oh, goody, because I love giving my opinion in things that have nothing to do with me. My cousin is getting married in October in PA. I've known the date for a long time. I already bought airplane tickets and hotel reservations for myself and my youngest. My oldest is deciding if she wants to go. Anyhow, we received the official invitations today and the reception is adult only. Not a big deal, I get it. I reached out to my cousin to see if there were any sitter services they knew or maybe a friend that had kids and used sitters. I needed a recommendation. He told me that it was my responsibility and suggested leaving her in Colo or bringing my oldest to sit because she, who is 17, is also not invited. At this point, I became annoyed. 1, they should have probably put no kids allowed on their website. 2, they should at least provide information or recommendations for sitters with families with children who are traveling to come to the wedding. Am I wrong? I think you should definitely give a heads up as far out as possible if kids aren't allowed. However, I do also agree that it is your responsibility. A girl that had a crush on my hubby, came to our wedding in a wedding dress, then sat on his lap during the reception and hugged him. Needless to say, my 3 bridesmaids threw her out. Bro, your 3 bridesmaids? I dare a woman to show up on my wedding day in a wedding dress, having a crush on my man and sitting on his lap. I would do more than just remove her. Let's just put that public service announcement out there for future reference. All right, guys, I'm getting out of here. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I will see you tomorrow.